ask what proof that we Christians have that Christ existed, and what proof that we have that Christ was who he said that he was. And a lot of times we search for academic answers, we search for physical proof, and we search for data, and we search for things that are extremely convincing. But a lot of times what we forget is that the best proof that we have that Christ is who he said that he was our own stories.
Where I'm from is Knoxville, Tennessee.
I come from Memphis, Tennessee.
I come from, I guess, a different style of family, a homosexual background family.
I came from Johnson City, Tennessee.
She had me, and I was raised with her. And when I was 1 year old, she was in a relationship with a wonderful woman named Annie, who has raised me, co-raised me with my mother.
But I also came from a broken home of alcoholism.
I am from Knoxville, Tennessee.
My dad was in the military.
From a family of distrust.
My dad was only, there because we were.
When I was a freshman in high school, my dad left for another woman.
And despair of I give ups and I don't care.
I was born and raised in Nairobi, Kenya.
I'm from Shelbyville, Tennessee.
I lived there for 12 years of my life. My parents were missionaries in Kenya and in Zaire.
I grew up in a home where my parents were Christians, but they didn't really live a Christian life.
And I grew up with a family. It's my mom and my dad and my half-brother. And my parents were together for 13 years but never married. And then they separated when I was 13.
Eventually I went to a few church camps, and I started getting involved with church and making friends, and I sort of became the accountability for my family and kind of encouraged my family to take me to church and get them involved in the church.
I really didn't find God in one specific place. It's been a journey.
When I was 12 years old, I was just in my bedroom one day and just thinking, like, what kind of life am I living? I don't have any purpose. I'm just living for me. And I really, that day, understood God's grace and what it really means, and I just desired it. And so I gave my life to Christ that night in my bedroom.
I guess I found God in the middle of my parents' divorce.
I found God in the people around me this summer at Windy Gap.
It allowed me to develop my own faith away from my parents and what they raised me believing, which was, we all believe the same thing, but they just fell away from it. But it just gave me time to develop my own faith and just find out who I really was in Christ.
When I realized, what it really meant, I was in my room with, I guess, 2 12-packs of beer right next to me, and just down and out and depressed, just trying to drown my sorrows and just thinking, there's got to be more to what I'm doing here.
I actually found God, for the first time knew, His presence existed. This summer, whenever I was in Jamaica.
One day, I was standing over my bathroom sink and looking down, and I was just feeling like crap.
Read the Psalm 46:10, be still, know that I'm God. And I was seriously still for the first time in my life, and just felt His existence and everything He stood for, all in that hour of quiet time, and just got up and looked around and saw His beauty in everything He created, and it was simply amazing.
And then I looked up at the mirror, and all of a sudden, I just realized how much God was moving in my life and how much He cared for me. And at that point, I just knew that God was real and He loved me.
What I don't wouldn't like people to know about me. I guess kind of like a fear of that would just be that I'm very self-conscious about what I do, how I do things, and I guess the views that people have on me, even though I act like I don't.
I don't want people to get to know the real me, the person behind the mask. I'm afraid of that person, and I'm afraid of what people think of that person.
I'm actually pretty ashamed that I really struggle with my pride, and I always like to be right, and I really like to be cool and popular and be the center of attention.
I guess what something I'm fearful of is that my brother or dad may never reach Christ like I.
I've been all around the United States, West Coast, East Coast,
I lived in Zaire.
Midwest,
I've been to Burundi, Rwanda,
Panama,
St. Louis.
Puerto Rico,
And I've been to England.
California.
I've been in deep states of depression.
I felt God's grace.
I felt accepted.
I've been lonely.
But I've also been in states of never-ending love and knowing God's love, or so love someone else that's just there for you.
I've been in a wonderful place with God.
Have been totally fulfilled by the love of God.
Down on my knees, down on my face.
Who am I?
So who am I?
What am I?
Who am I?
Who am I?
I'm hope.
I guess I could be just a living example of grace, the things I've done in my life.
I am a woman of God.
Satan says that I'm hopeless.
In the eyes of Satan, I feel like he says that I'm useless.
In the eyes of Satan, I am ugly and I'm worthless and I'm a failure.
Satan says that I'm everything that God says I'm not.
I think that God, he looks at me and says that I'm chosen and he did pick me out.
But in the eyes of God, I'm indispensable and I'm a beautiful creation and I have a distinct purpose.